For decades, Indian military aviation had a predictable script. If the Indian Air Force needed a plane built at home, there was only one door to knock on, and that was Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. That era effectively ends this year. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar confirmed just this week that the first made-in-India C295 transport aircraft will roll out of the Vadodara factory before September 2026. This is not just a delivery date, it is the moment the monopoly breaks. The rollout from the Tata Airbus facility in Gujarat represents the first time a private Indian company will deliver a finished military aircraft. Until now, private players were restricted to making small components or systems, while HAL handled final assembly and integration. The C295 deal changes the industrial DNA of India's defense sector. We are seeing a shift where a private consortium is responsible for the entire life cycle of the plane. This includes manufacturing, assembly, testing, and delivery. It introduces genuine competition into a sector that has historically suffered from delays and inefficiency issues. While the industrial shift is historic, the immediate impact will be felt on the front lines. Tensions remain high along the line of actual control, and logistics win wars in the Himalayas. The C295 brings a specific set of capabilities that are tailor-made for this theater. Its killer app is the ability to operate from short and unpaved airstrips that would be risky for heavier jets. The infrastructure build-up by China requires a rapid response capability on the Indian side. The C295 can land on dirt runways as short as 2,200 feet. Even more critical for the narrow valleys of Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh is its ground maneuverability. The aircraft has an auto-reverse capability that allows it to make a 180-degree turn on a runway only 12 meters wide. This allows the IAF to deliver troops and heavy equipment to advanced landing grounds that were previously accessible only by helicopters or smaller aging planes. Beyond its ability to land, the technical architecture of the C295 is what ensures it can survive in these hostile environments. Under the hood, the aircraft is powered by two Pratt & Whitney PW127G turboprop engines, each generating 2,645 shaft horsepower. This specific engine variant is critical for the hot and high conditions of the Indian border. In the thin air of high-altitude bases like Daulat Beg Oldie, standard engines lose significant thrust due to oxygen starvation. The PW127G offers a superior power-to-weight ratio and fuel burn efficiency, ensuring that the aircraft retains the necessary surge power to lift heavy payloads out of deep valleys while maintaining a loiter time of up to 11 hours. This endurance is vital for maritime patrol missions over the Indian Ocean or extended surveillance flights along the porous eastern borders. Perhaps the most strategic advantage lies in what is invisible from the outside. Unlike previous defense imports where India was forced to rely on foreign black boxes, these aircraft are being fitted with a fully indigenous electronic warfare suite. This suite includes radar warning receivers and missile approach warning systems that detect enemy radar locks or the heat signature of incoming missiles. The decision to use an Indian EW suite is a geopolitical masterstroke. It grants the Indian Air Force sovereign control over its threat libraries. In a conflict scenario, if an adversary introduces a new radar frequency, Indian engineers can update the C295's defenses immediately without needing permission or software patches from a foreign vendor. Inside the cockpit, the difference between the past and present is stark. The analog dials of the Avro and A32 era have been replaced by the Collins Aerospace ProLine Fusion avionics suite. This glass cockpit features large digital touchscreens that synthesize flight data, weather, and terrain warnings into a single intuitive picture. For pilots flying through the treacherous, fog-laden passes of the Himalayas, this situational awareness is a lifesaver. The system is also fully compatible with night vision goggles, transforming the transport fleet from a daylight-dependent logistics service into a 24/7 tactical asset capable of inserting special forces into unlit drop zones under the cover of darkness. The C295 is primarily here to replace the vintage Avro fleet, but its role will inevitably expand to cover the duties of the N32. The N-32 has been the workhorse of the mountains for 40 years, but the fleet is aging and dependent on spares from a conflict-ridden region. The C295 offers a modern, reliable alternative that breaks this supply chain dependency. The facility in Vadodara is supported by components flowing in from Hyderabad and a network of over 37 domestic suppliers. This creates a parallel defense ecosystem that does not rely on the state-run infrastructure. If this program succeeds, it proves that the private sector can handle complex military aviation projects. That success would likely open the door for Tata and other private players to bid for future contracts, including helicopters and perhaps eventually fighter jets. The September 2026 rollout is the proof of concept. If the C295 meets its operational benchmarks in the high-altitude deserts of Ladakh, it will validate the decision to trust the private sector with national security.